If you ever found yourself over explaining, people pleasing, or shrinking to keep a relationship, this episode is for you. Today, we're diving into a topic that keeps so many of us stuck in unfulfilling relationships. We're going to unpack where this need comes from, how it shows up, and most importantly, how to break free from it and start validating yourself. Hello, and welcome back to the Power Session. I am your favorite certified transformational life and relationship empowerment coach. I am Dr. Freda. And today we are talking about how to stop seeking validation in relationships. Because when you stop needing a person approval, you start reclaiming your power back. So, we only have 30 minutes, so let's jump right into it. Today, we are going to discuss where the need for validation comes from and ultimately how to break free from it and have a sustainable, loving relationship. And let's start by getting honest. Many of us learn early on that love is learned and earned through behavior, performance of perfection. Let's start by getting honest. Many of us learned early on that love is earned, whether it's through behavior, performance, or perfection. And a few weeks ago, we talked about the different attachment styles. And if you go through one of my programs, I go into detail on each of the attachment styles that we all fall into. And there are four main attachment styles. So I will leave that information below and you can look on my website as well. But we've learned through our early formidable years how to love and how to receive love. And that childhood conditioning can be seen as be good, be quiet, don't make waves, children are seen and not heard, stay in your place. If you were when you were a little girl, you probably have heard, you just stay prim and proper. Little girls do not make waves. Little girls don't talk back. And you sit there and you smile, ignore what you're feeling, and just be quiet. If you grew up as a little boy, you may have heard men don't cry, keep your emotions to yourself. No one cares if you're going to cry or if you hurt. As a man, you have to be a provider and put your emotions to the back. All of these words are ways that they condition our formidable years. And unfortunately, we've taken that advice and we applied them into our relationships. Because if you think about it, every waking life from the time we were born until the time we leave this earth is all about relationships. So we connect the dots from how we learned in our childhood and we correlate that throughout our years from elementary, middle, high school, college, dating, the way we work, how we interact with our colleagues, our boss, it all correlates with each other. Another conditioning that have that another way we've learned how to show up in a relationship is from past trauma or emotional unavailable caregivers. We were receiving love from people who cannot or did not pour back into us. So we were looking as a child to our caregiver for love, affection, validation. And for whatever reason, that person or persons was unavailable emotionally, mentally, or even physically to give that to us. And another way that we learn how to show up in relationships is, like I said earlier, the society's messaging for men and women, specifically women and marginalized people. We're taught to make ourselves small to be lovable, and don't be too loud, and don't ruffle feathers, and don't make anyone feel uncomfortable because what? Because they don't tell little boys that. They always tell the girls that. Okay. And marginalized people, where we just have to play small so we can be accepted. Why do we keep on subscribing to this type of messaging when deep down we know it doesn't resonate with us? Because if it resonated with us, we would be happy, we would be fulfilled. But we know deep down, even if it's bubbling up, we know inside that this is not right. You know that you're not being fulfilled emotionally, mentally, physically. It comes out financially, in every aspect of your life. These patterns carried over from childhood into adulthood relationships. If love was conditional back then, it's no wonder why you keep asking, am I enough now? You know why you keep asking yourself that? It's because you are still repeating and recycling those old, outdated messages that no longer serve you. They were wrong then, but you was a child and you weren't able to decipher through the noise. Even if you knew that it was not right, going against your parents or caregivers or wherever you grew up in was kind of unheard of. Even if you was the rebellious type, it was only so much pushing you can get before you get pushed out. So we learn how to accept these untruths, but what's happening, these untruths are still dictating our lives in our adult life, in our adult years. So ask yourself, who taught me I needed to earn love? And have I outgrown that lesson? Because if you have not outgrown those lessons and you keep repeating those same actions of earning someone's love, then you're going to continue to get the relationships that you're manifesting. So, how validation seeking shows up in our lives? Okay, we know where they come from. They usually, 9 out of 10 times, they were established in our formidable childhood years. Okay, that love is earned, and not to be a spoiler alert, but we all know that love is not earned. Okay, you are lovable, and love is given to everyone. All right, but we still recycle those outdated messages and programming that we taken from childhood into our adulthood, because it's emotional memory. You know how they say muscle memory, like riding a bike? Well, when you're getting into relationships, when you haven't healed from past trauma, when you haven't healed from rejection, when you haven't healed from outdated messaging, then you're going to keep recycling those same thoughts. You might not even realize it, but these are some subtle ways that those outdated messages and thoughts play out in your dating and relationship life. So I'm going to go through some examples. Maybe you're the person who constantly need reassurance. Do you still love me? Do you still want to be with me? Now, it's okay if you're just playing and teasing your partner, like, do you love me? And wear something cute. But where you are actually questioning if your partner loves you, if they want to be with you, if you constantly need that reassurance and that validation, that may be an indication that you are still using those outdated programming that you have to earn love. You don't. What about this? What if you constantly or majority of the time change your opinion to match your partner. You have your own opinion and you know how to voice it, but you rather keep quiet, play small, and agree with what your partner is saying. How are you honoring yourself when you constantly validate those old programming by not validating your own voice? How are you showing up for yourself? And we all know how that ends because someone in their relationship end up resentful, and it's 9 times out of 10 the person who's doing the adapting and losing themselves to be with someone, and it's not sustainable and you're not happy. And people come to me and say relationships are just so hard, and it's just, it doesn't have to be hard, but it's hard when you haven't established the relationship with yourself first. Another example is avoiding conflict so they won't leave. Let me tell you something. If a person's gonna leave, they're gonna leave. If a person take your man or take your woman that was never yours to begin with, person can't take something that's not yours. That's just how it is, right? So by you trying to say the right things and not stepping up or speaking up to avoid conflict, you're actually creating conflict within yourself. So what you're saying to God, universe, whoever you identify with, is my voice is not as important as my partner's voice. My needs are not as important as my partner's needs. My wants, my desires are not important as important. And what you're doing is you're reaffirming every single day, every single action, that old outdated programming that you didn't even agree with when you was younger, but you're reaffirming it every single day in your relationships. What about feeling crushed by any kind of disapproval? Now, there's some things where people are just being nasty and malicious with their words. And then you have constructive criticism that helps you grow and evolve as a person. I'm talking about the constructive criticism part, where you look at everything as constructive criticism as a rejection against you. It's not. It's opportunities for you to grow. And if a partner truly loves you, excuse me, and want to pour into you, they are going to sometimes say things that may not feel good to you, but you may need to hear it for growth and for the growth and the evolving of the relationship. Okay? What about over apologizing or always taking the blame just to keep the peace, even if it's not your fault? You're assuming responsibility for something that you didn't even do or create, but because you want to keep the peace, you just assume the responsibility. Again, you're not honoring yourself. And you wonder why it's the same relationship in a different suit with a different person keeps manifesting in your life. It's not the person, it's you. You are the person who keeps subscribing to these outdated, untrue beliefs. You are enough. You are lovable. You are not too much. Period. So when you outsource your worth, you give someone else the power to define your value. That's why I said earlier, relationships are only as hard as you make them. And most of the times, though, the people in these hard relationships haven't established a relationship with themselves first. You're allowing someone else to dictate what your value is. You're supposed to already show up to this relationship knowing who you are, what you want, what are your needs, and you can be able to eloquently communicate that to your partner, because you're teaching your partner every single day how to treat you. And you're teaching them through boundaries. You teaching them through examples. You teaching them through, if you have to, feel comfortable role playing, playbacks. That is your responsibility to yourself. And if you're not doing that, you're dishonoring yourself, and you're going to continue to have these revolving, unfulfilling non-sustainable relationships. So, what is the cost of seeking validation? Well, I kind of touched on it a little bit. But let's be clear, this isn't just an emotional habit. It's also an energetic leak. It's an energy leak. And what do I mean by energy leak? When you consistently give away your power, when you consistently let someone else define your value, when you consistently play small and don't trust your voice, you diminish self-trust. You start going through life doubting yourself. You start going through life talking down and bad about yourself, validating other people when they talk about you. You don't even trust yourself. Resentment builds up. It might not happen today, it might not happen tomorrow. 10 years from now, you can wake up and look in the mirror and not even recognize yourself because you allow just bit by bit, day by day, to let someone, something, or someone's to take your power away, or you freely giving up your power. And sometimes you won't notice it until what you're looking at you don't even recognize. What about when you keep on attracting partners who take more than they give? I cannot tell you how many times I coach people who say, I continue to attract this type of person, that type of person. And they always mistreat me and they always leave me empty. And I listen and it always come back to you. It's going to always come back to self. Because the universe doesn't match what your words say. You can say you want a good partner who's kind and loving and affectionate. The universe doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your energy. So if your energy is consistently leaking by you giving your power away, by you not validating yourself, then you're going to continue to attract what you're able to handle. And you're able to handle unavailable, emotionally unavailable, disrespectful partners who are unkind. The universe only gives you what you're able to hold. That's why having a relationship with self is more important than getting a relationship with someone else. And I will always come back to that. How about when someone abuse and misuse your power so much, you start to feel unseen, not chosen. You start comparing yourself to people. Each time you don't speak up, each time you play small, each time you don't validate your opinion and go along with the crowd, you're diminishing your power. You are energetically leaking out your own power. Until again, like I said, you're going to look in the mirror and you won't even recognize yourself. You will not be happy with your life. And I always say, however long it took you to get to this point, depending on how fast you learn and open as you are, it doesn't have to take that long to undo what you've learned and continue to reaffirm. Okay? So I just want you to know that you will never, and I don't use the word never because you just never know. But I can 100,000% say you can never build a solid relationship on shaky self-worth. It's not your partner's responsibility to define who you are. That's your responsibility before going into that relationship. So what are some ways to reclaim your power and validate yourself? Put the ownership back on you and not on them. Our caregivers did the best they could for where they were in their life, whether they were there or not. They may not have protected you, supported you as a child, but now as an adult, it's your responsibility to protect yourself because it wasn't protected when you were as a child. So here's where the shift happens. These practical, soul nourishing ways to stop needing external validations and start affirming your own worth is through self awareness. I want you to start catching yourself in that people pleasing or approval seeking. When you have a thought and someone else have another thought, and you see you know you're changing it to appease them, stop it. Just stop it. I'd rather for you not to say anything than to say something that you don't even fully agree with just to please the crowd. And if someone said, do you have an opinion? If you're not going to express and voice your own opinion, I don't care if you think that is right, wrong, silly, stupid, irrelevant. I don't care. If you are not going to voice your personal opinion, I'd rather for you say, I don't have opinion at all. Just be quiet, because you're going to continue to reaffirm those negative programming, outdated thoughts that you learned when you were a child. And it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the recipients who's asking your honest opinion. The next thing is name the need. I am seeking safety, not love. I am seeking what? What are you seeking? What does your soul need? Do you need more? Do you need more attention? Well, the attention is not what you really need. Is you're seeking to be seen, to be heard. And it just comes out as, oh, she just needs too much attention, or he just needs too much attention. You probably didn't get that growing up. You attracting those partners who reaffirm that behavior that you're used to when you were a child. But you still need that same need. It's not going to go away. So name it. Write down, what is it that you need? Is it safety? Is it security? Is it attention? What is it? Because whatever that is, then we can trace it back to, this is what it is on the surface, but subconsciously, you need this. Okay. And do some mirror work. I love the mirror work routine. It is where you stand in front of a mirror and you look at yourself eye to eye, and you say affirming statements that goes against the programming that you subscribe to at a young age. You're going to say statements like, I am enough. I am love. I am lovable. I am more than enough. I am living the life that I know that I deserve. Whatever you want to create, you start saying it in the present. You don't say it in the future. Time is not linear, it's circular. So it's no ending, it's no beginning. So you speak in the future. You speak in the present as if it's already has happened. People who know faith without work is dead, right? So you have to already believe that it's already here, and you can't wait till it gets here. You are the usher, the catalyst to bring it in. So you can't wait for it to happen when you are the catalyst to make it happen, if that makes sense. Also, set healthy boundaries. Your boundaries is a way to communicate to others your needs and wants. I'm not saying build a wall. I'm saying set boundaries that is good for you. And your boundaries will change as you evolve. Your boundaries will evolve as you evolve. But right now, you set boundaries that makes you comfortable right now. And you communicate that to your partner, to anyone that you have a relationship with, platonic or romantic. I don't care if it's your parents. I don't care if it's your child. I don't care if it's your boss. Your responsibility is to yourself. You can't be a mother and a father if you're not honoring yourself. It just doesn't happen. You can't pour from an empty cup. Doesn't work like that. And also, don't have a problem saying no without feeling guilty. We're not people pleasing. The only person you need to please is yourself. And you're not doing it. So say no. And your no means no. You don't have to go into explanation. No. Period. So make peace with not being understood. It's okay. Everyone is not going to understand, especially if they're used to giving up your power or playing get along, play along just to get along, or being quiet and not ruffling feathers. you're going to be off putting for a while to people who are used to walking over you. So get comfortable being misunderstood. And the right people who understand you will be attracted to you because that's the energy you putting out. You're plugging up that energy leak and you're starting to fill your cup back up. Because even before it's full, even before that cup is full, you're going to start attracting, being a magnet to what is aligned to you at that point. Right now, you may not, your life or relationships may not be what you want them to be, but energetically, magnetically, that's what you're attracting. But once you plug up though that leak and start putting you first, setting boundaries, saying no without explanation, being okay with being misunderstood, validating your feelings, then you're going to start being a magnet and attracting what you actually want. People who see your purpose, who see the love that you are and can give because they want to give it to you. You don't have to explain every emotion because you're working through it. But I want you to feel your feelings without performing them. A lot of people like to run away from it and dodge it. You have to feel through it. I don't care how bad it hurts. I don't care how good it feels. You need to feel through every emotion so you can understand them, learn from them, and you don't have to repeat those same cycles. You must honor your inner voice without needing permission. You don't need permission to honor who you are. You are the permission. Surround yourself with empowering people. If you're around people who you don't even want to be, who you don't even like or want to be around, or you don't even see in your future, why are you wasting your time in your present? It makes no sense. Surround yourself with people who pour back into you and not just take. Build relationships that reflect who you are, not who you pretend to be. And that's scary because if you are saying what you think a person want to hear, you're not being authentically yourself. So you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing the recipient a disservice. Who are you? Who are you showing up to be? You wouldn't have to answer that question if you show up authentically yourself every single day. You were not ever created to shrink for love. You were meant to expand it. You were meant to expand love. There's only two emotions, love and fear. Love, you have joy, peace, security, enoughness, laughter, communication. With fear, you have jealousy, discord, comparison, coveting, and strife and anger, things that are lower energies, right? But when you're operating in an emotion of love, you're able to expand it. You're able to expand your energetic reach where you can create more magnets of what you like and need and want into your life. So, validation doesn't make you worthy. You already are worthy. And the moment you stop waiting for them to choose you and you start choosing yourself, everything is going to shift. That person may not ever choose you. But why are you waiting on that person? You are enough. You just have to remember you are enough. So, if you're ready to go deeper and want to work with me, book a free discovery call with me on my website. The link will be in the description below. And also, if you want to do more work, you can head over to Amazon or to my website and purchase my 31-day daily journal, Dump That Shit, where you remember who you are meant to be and not what the world wants you to be. And lastly, go to my website and join the Love Lounge for exclusive content, community, and connection. So the Love Lounge is my personal private community that you sign up online on my website, and I come monthly with master classes that I do not share online. And I also drop in some weekly inspiration and motivational affirmations. And it's also a way to speak to me monthly and at our master classes. So it's a lot of fun, great community. It's private because I don't let everyone in. This is like I said, there's only two emotions, it's fear and love. And if I see one moment that fear is trying to creep in, I cut it off because we have enough of that. We have enough of the world telling us who we're supposed to be. We operate in love over here. So which is why it's called the Love Lounge. All right. So I appreciate you taking out the time of your busy schedule to listen and or watch me on YouTube with this message. Every message that I come to you weekly, it comes from my heart. It comes from my experience. It comes from my teachings. And I want to bestow any knowledge I have to help you remember your own power. So until next time, I'm Dr. Freda, and I'm reminding you your power is not up for negotiation. I want you to reclaim it, love it, and most importantly, live it. I will see you next week.